Good day, my scholars. Welcome to my school channel. My name is Alexandra. So in this video, you'll be getting a better understanding of what language register is. Okay, we know that language register is a very broad concept because it covers all aspects of communication, both forms and kinds of communication. Okay, in terms of profession or vocation, context or situation, or just any level of formality in speech. So it covers a broad range of communication. So in this video, you'll be learning the definition of language register, you'll be learning the types, and we'll look at examples of language registers associated with various human activities. So please stay tuned, don't go anywhere, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to my school channel. So today's topic remains language register. So I've outlined 3 objectives for today's lesson. Number 1, you'll be learning the definition of language register. Number 2, you'll be able to list the types of language register we have, and you'll be able to explain them definitely. And lastly, you learn the examples of language register associated with a few subject matter that's been selected for today's lesson. Now let's begin with the first objective, that is the definition of language register. Now, how do we define language register? Let's head towards the screen for a better understanding of the definition. Now, I have 2 definitions here. Number 1, language register is a form of language associated with a particular subject matter. And number 2, language register can also be defined as words or terminologies associated with a particular profession or vocation. Now, what does this really mean? Now, people use language or words in different situations or different contexts, and you can testify to that. For example, when you go to the hospital, you use words such as drugs, nurse, doctor, and all of that. But when you go to a sporting activity, you use words differently from what I've just said. You might use football, you might use referee, you might use commentator, and all of that. So you see that people use words in different situations, in different fields. Now, this different context or situation is generally referred to as subject matter. So when you think of subject matter, you think of topic or you think of field. Now, different subject matter have different or special words associated with them, and that is what language register is all about. Language register is the words or terminologies associated with a particular field, a particular profession, a particular subject matter, a particular vocation. Okay, because we have several of them. We have we have the medicine, we have science, we have technology, we have diverse human activities, and these attract a special terminology or special word or special language register. Okay, so that is what language register is simply all about. Words associated with a particular profession or the language associated with a particular subject matter. Whichever way you want to put it is fine. But language register are words or terminologies or form of language associated with a particular human activity. That is what language register is. Let's take a look at the next objective, which is the types of language register. Okay, so the first type is the static/frozen register. But before we jump right into this type of register, there's something you need to take note of, and that is, how do we determine the appropriate language register? What are those factors that should be considered for us to decide, okay, this is the appropriate word we need to use in this particular context or situation? Therefore, we have audience, we have location, we have topic, and then we have purpose. For example, for the audience or the people that's involved, ever wondered why your words change when you approach your teacher or principal as when you approach your friends? Okay, you use hello, how you doing, what's up, and all of that for your friends. But when you go to meet your principal or your teacher, you use good morning sir or good morning ma. Okay, so even your gesture and your tone conforms to the formality, to the level of formality as expected from your recipient or the person you're talking to, okay? So this tells us that the person involved is very important or determines the kind of word we use. Okay, the second one is the topic. Let's take, for instance, I'm teaching technology. I don't go to the board and start talking about grammar and all of that. I use words pertaining to technology, okay? Machines, I talk about machines, I talk about innovations and all of that. But when I go to the field of biology, I talk about, you know, body parts and organs and all of that. So the topic also matter in considering the type of word you use or the kind of words you use. Okay, well, let's talk about location. Imagine going to the church. What you do there is to worship God as a supreme being, to reverence Him and all of that. So you are either praying, okay, worshiping, quoting Bible verses and all of that. Now think about when you go to a club or a restaurant. In a restaurant, you order for food. You get ice cream, you get chocolate, cakes and all of that. Or you go to a club, drinks, you know, partying and all of that. So you use words associated with that location. Okay, let's talk about purpose. For example, you've just been awarded the best graduating student and you've been called upon to give a speech. You don't go there and start arguing. What do? You inform us, you tell us your success story. You inform us, you narrate how your journey has been. You don't go on stage there and start arguing because it is not a debate. When you go for a debate, you can then argue. So your purpose, the location, the people involved, and the topic matter when determining the appropriate language register to be used. Let's continue with the types of language register. So we have the static/frozen register. Now from the word static or frozen, it means something that is constant, something that does not change, right? Okay, so that's what it's all about. So these words not change. They rarely change. They rarely undergo changes. Okay, the first point noted here is it is the most formal type of language. It is common in written medium. So it is common in written medium implies that it is not conversational. It's not something that necessarily need response, okay? It is just there. It is static and even if it's spoken, okay, it originates from a written form. And then you can say it, but that is where it originates from, okay? It's not conversational. It is just there, okay? It rarely or never changes. It is often learned, okay? So people will memorize those words and they learn it, okay? So some examples are Bible verses, for God so loved the world, that He gave His only begotten Son, and so on and so forth. National anthem, I would like to say that of Nigeria. Arise, O compatriots, Nigeria's God obey, and all of that. National pledge, I pledge Nigeria, my country, and all of that. You see, these words are frozen. They are static. They don't change. That is the way the words are. They've been written like that, and we just have to learn it or memorize it, okay? So let's move to the next type of language register. The next is formal register, okay? So this is used in formal settings, okay? It's used in formal setting. It does not contain slangs, okay? It uses professional, technical, or academic terminology, okay? It follows a prescriptive format. Okay, from this you understand that, okay, this is a formal writing, okay? It doesn't use slang, it doesn't use endearing words and all of that. It is professional in nature, it is technical in nature, and it follows an order, a format, a guideline. Okay, some example includes business writing. It has a format. We need to include the receiver's contact, we need to include our contact. There should be a salutation, there's a way it is written. There should be a closing salutation, there should be the body and all of that. So it has a format, it is very formal, okay? Research paper, essay writing, interviews, public announcements. For example, interviews, you go to an interview and they say, okay, may we know you, and you just say, I am Alexandra. Okay, there's a format. You need to give them a lot more than, my name is Alexandra. Okay, so it follows a prescriptive format. Now let's take a look at the next type of language register. Okay, so next is consultative register. Okay, it is used in conversation. Okay, so it involves people, 2 or more persons. Okay, it is used when consulting an expert The language is precise and often technical. The language is neutral and polite. It is common in both speech and writing. Now, some examples are a patient conversing with a doctor, a student to a teacher, a lawyer to a client. So you can see the expertise, and then you can see the other person who is receiving the information. Take, for example, you go to see your doctor and he runs some tests and he says, oh, you have acute or chronic bronchitis. The word is very technical, and I'm sure you would ask, what is that? Okay, and then it breaks it down. But that is what it is. That is what the illness is. It just has to use that technical word, chronic bronchitis. But then it breaks it down so that you understand it. And the language is polite, is neutral, it's in between formality and informality, okay? So it involves a person consulting an expert, okay? That is what consultative register is all about. Let's take a look at the next type of register. Okay, so next is casual register. Okay, so this is used in an informal setting. Okay, it is used between acquaintances or members of similar social group. It uses slang. Okay, so some examples are conversation between teammates. Please take note of all of the examples under each of the types. It gives you a broader concept about what it is all about. Friends or colleagues, social media chats, blogs, informal letters, and so on and so forth. So you can ask your friend what's happening, what's up, and all of that. So these are words, these are casual registers. These are words you use between friends. You find them between people of the same prayer group, people of the same social group. You find them using it in social media chats, blogs, and so on and so forth. So this is what casual register is all about. Now let's move to the last or the final type of language register. Okay, so this is intimate register. It is used in an informal setting also. It is a private or more personal communication. It is used between people who share close relationship or bond. Now you can see the difference between casual and intimate right here. This entails a personal relationship or a private relationship or a private communication, okay? And you see words like my sweetheart, my love, dear, and all of that. Very, very intimate words you share with lovers. You share with very close family members, like very intimate family members and all of that. So this is what intimate register is all about. So we've come to the end of the types of language register, and I'll be stopping here, but there's a longer version of this lesson which will entail the samples of language register associated with the various human activity. And also I'm going to be sharing with you an American linguist perspective when it comes to the types of language register. It is very, very, very enlightening. I believe sharing this with you would help you understand the types of language register, because it shows the hierarchy of language formality, okay? It's a very beautiful one, and I would love to share that with you. All you need to do is you click on the link in the description below. It takes you to the My School website. There you'll be required to subscribe. Please go ahead and subscribe so that you can enjoy the complete package of today's lesson. Thank you for staying tuned. Do not forget to hit the like button, click on the subscribe button, and lastly, tap on the bell notification to get informed as soon as we release the next videos.